Trail riding is the mountain biker's mountain bike, and it's all about getting out there and exploring on your bike. But there are some common mistakes people make. So let's take a look at what they are and how to avoid them. The great thing about trail riding, I think, is that it's an open book. It can be interpreted in lots of different ways. It could be an all-day epic monster of a ride. It could be a 45-minute blast around your local woods. Regardless of which it is, though, whatever end of the spectrum you're looking for, there is a certain amount of preparation, I think, that is required. I am, of course, talking about food and drink prep. There's nothing worse than bonking when out on a ride because you haven't got enough liquid on you or enough food to keep you going. Now, this becomes more apparent the bigger the ride you go on rather than those short little blasts I was talking about. But still, just keeping your food levels and your hydration topped up is absolutely crucial. Here's some key ways you can do it. For the bigger rides out there, a backpack like this Camelback Mule is a great way of carrying enough fluid. This has got a 2-litre bladder in it, so plenty of liquid. I've actually, on my Canyon Lux Trail as well, got a double bottle cage as well, so I can take another litre of water there should I need to. And if we were to dive deeper into my snack pack, well, it might not be the most nutritious on this occasion, but look, there's some biscuits, nice bit of sugar, should you sort of bonk and need a pick-me-up. I've got some sandwiches and stuff on there because I'm out for the day here filming, so I need some supplies to keep me going. But making sure you got the right mixture of proteins, carbohydrates going inside of you and electrolytes in your water will do wonders of keeping salt levels topped up, some sugar to keep you going, and obviously those carbs that need replacing. Other great ways of getting kind of the nutrients and carbs and proteins and sugars in you really quickly in a more direct manner, if you like, if you're not sort of stopping, are things like energy bars, energy gels, and tabs that you can put in your water. All really good things that I use a lot of the time when I'm doing really big rides. The next big mistake I see all the time is another prep-related one, and this time, instead of food and drink, it's tools and spares. How many times have you been on a ride with your friends and something's broken? They go, oh, have you got an Allen key on you? Have you got a tyre lever on you? You got a spare tube? You're like, yeah, but why haven't you? There are, of course, a few things that I think are absolutely essential when it comes to tools and spares to take with you, be it in your bag or integrated into the bike. And there are some great tools out there now that can be integrated into the bike, so you don't even have to carry them, which is a really nice, neat idea. But essentials, I think, are an inner tube, tyre levers, a chain tool, multi-tool, PE's whole shot device, basically that's going to be a tubeless tyre plugger, a pump, and a CO2 canister. And don't forget, on the CO2 canister, you need the adapter to actually be able to inflate your tyres. I've seen a lot of people forget that part. Your bag is packed, your food is prepped, it's now time to go riding. And there's some pretty essential basics that we can sort of teach ourselves or remember when we do head out. The first of which is these: braking. Finding that rhythm and flow out on the trail is absolutely crucial to sort of improving just how good your riding will become, and braking is a huge part of finding that. All too often the mistake I see is people charging really hard into corners, slamming on their brakes to slow down as much as possible, losing too much speed and momentum, corner, and then having to get on the gas and pushing a really hard gear out of the turn to get back up to speed, which is something I'm going to touch on shortly. The key thing here is trying to be as smooth on the brakes as possible. Do all your braking before your turn, not in the turn. That way you'll be at the right speed to hit the corner, carry nice momentum through, and then get on the gas afterwards. And it's the same that can be said for straight line sections. I just bombed it down a steep bit here. Now I'm going to be nice and smooth on the brakes, good modulation. I'm not just going to grab a handful. I'm going to use the front brake predominantly to slow down as quick and as soon as possible. That's going to give me a lot of the powerful braking. The back end is kind of more just to drag that brake, if you like, to modulate the speed in that sense. And then when it's safe to do so, let off the brake, carry speed, ride off into the sunset, and enjoy the rest of the ride. Let's keep the flow going. And I'm not talking about downhill. No, I'm talking about uphill and cadence. Efficiency is key, and spinners, well, they're winners, right? Whew. All right, so top tip here. Now, it's something I see quite a lot of people do, and it's just pure power, just muscling some huge gear around the trails, especially uphills, downhills, wherever. They're just grinding away. Try and avoid that. It kind of links back through to braking, what we were talking about, where you're going in, braking really hard and having to get on the gas out. Nice and smooth, good cadence in, especially on the way up. Just a nice steady cadence is going to allow you to spin up without using too much energy and putting too much stress on your legs. Try to find a nice rhythm, something you think you're comfortable with and can maintain for a long period of time. Remember, you're not out there to race, you're out there to ride. So there's no point gunning it up the hill so you've got no energy to come back down. At the same point, there's no point sprinting downhill all the time because you're just going to tire yourself out unnecessarily. My next trail riding mistake is this. It's not looking where you're going. Trail riding is all about reacting to what's coming up. So having your head up, looking where you're going, eyesight nice and down the trail so you can scan what's going on all the time is crucial. Behind me, in fact, is a perfect example of why you need to be looking ahead and scanning the trail. We've got a fork in the trail here and I'm riding in Alicante, not entirely sure of where I'm going. I knew at the top, I looked at my directions online, so I was like, I need to make a fork here and go this way and this way and this way. Now, it's really easy to blast past a turn because you're not looking where you're going. So I could blitz it down here and just carry straight on the trail. But actually, I need to head on down to Rider's Right here. So being able to look ahead and preempt that coming means I can prepare for it and take, well, the correct route on this instance. It's not just about looking ahead and scanning the trail for turns and changes in directions on where you need to go. It's about assessing the trail and picking the right and choosing the right line that's for you. You know, we could blast down here and there's a slightly smoother line to the right or a really rocky line to the left. By looking ahead and giving yourself kind of the time to be able to choose and make a proper decision of maybe what the right line is in terms of speed or in terms of your ability can make or break a ride as well. This little alteration we can make to our riding can make a huge difference and is often overlooked. It is foot placement. Now, when your shoe essentially sits on the pedal, imagine this is your flat pedal. You shouldn't be on your toes, you shouldn't be right on your heel, you should be somewhere on the ball of your foot. That's going to be the strongest part where you're not going to damage your ankle potentially. But being near the middle of your foot as well, it allows any room for maneuver. So if your foot jumps around a little, it's got room to go. If you're right on your toes and it jumps back, you know, there's potential for that to slip off. We also want to think about dropping our heels more. So we're on the ball of our foot here. When it gets really rough or it's jumpy and skipping around a lot, we'll drop our heels. What this is doing is putting our weight and our force into our pedals to eliminate that skipping and jumping around feeling as well. A lot of these same principles can actually be applied to being clipped in as well. But obviously with that, we've got much more minimal movement on where our cleat position can be. If we move the cleat really far towards our toes, we're putting a lot of extra leverage on our ankles and on our calves, and you're really going to start to feel your calves pump up. If you want a more flat pedal feel, if you like, whilst being clipped in, and with regards to position, slide that cleat all the way back towards the middle of your foot, and you'll get that much more sort of centralized, planted feel to it. So that's your foot position kind of when it comes to flats and clips. But where should your pedals be? Well, as a general rule of thumb, in corners, berms, you're always going to have your pedals level. This puts you nice and central on the bike and it allows you to really force into the turn, matching the angle of the berm as well. On flat turns, you're usually going to drop your outside foot. This puts a lot of weight into that and allows you to get extra grip so you're not going to wash out on the turn. Pedals should always be level when you're going really fast on rough terrain. That's going to allow you to, like I said, dig in, get a lot of grip and a lot of force going through the pedals. Hopefully, these top tips have helped you transform your trail riding, these mistakes that you might have been making before. Are there any other trail riding mistakes that you kind of guys make out there? Let me know in the comments down below and I'll hopefully jump on in there and answer them. And don't forget, YouTube memberships are now live. Become part of the trail crew or a trail boss to get loads of perks. But until next time, I'll see you later.